Hello and welcome to another edition of Issues with Jide. Here we'll talk about actions and inactions of those who shape our political and national landscape and how these impact us positively or otherwise. I'm Ibrahim Shita. Today on the show, Peter Obi battles to save Labour Party as crisis worsens. In the course of the program, we take our questions, but first, subscribe to our YouTube channel and drop your questions in the comment section. It's important to mention that we can only read comments with human names and the ones based on the subject matter. I have joining me via Zoom, the master himself, Babajide, Kolade-Otitoju. Good to see you again, BKO.
Thank you, Brian. Good to see you.
Right. Let's get right into it. A year after the leadership of the opposition Labour Party was separated with the incumbent national chairman, the faction of Labour Party led by Lamidi Apapa has reconciled with Julius Abure with the objective of presenting a united opposition against Peter Obi and the Nigerian Labour Congress. With the new peace deal between Abure and Apapa, what implications do you think this would have on Peter Obi's political aspiration? Bikio.
Let us leave that. The issue is whether Abure or Apapa decide to come together. It's not really the issue. The issue is that the Labour Party crisis remains a very big problem for stakeholders in the party. It's a big issue when the National Working Committee of the party is meeting in Abuja with the man who was the presidential candidate of the party in attendance, seeking to reconcile party members, seeking to find a way in which the Labour Party can come together, can become just as strong as they were in the last general election, when they were the choice of student union groups, hardworking people of Nigeria. When people saw them as being bigger social democrats than entrenched interest in the other political parties. And then Peter Obi made such a remarkable showing in the election where he scored more than 6 million votes. Not many people expected Labour Party to go that far. Not many people expected Peter Obi to score more than 6 million votes. He actually scored 6.7 million votes or thereabout. I do not have the figure offhand. But I think he scored 6,794,726 votes. That's remarkable. That's impressive for somebody contesting the presidency the first time. And we are not, it did not belong to the ruling party. It came out of a big party to join a much smaller party, and it did very well. Peter Obi knows that going back to AGA is not the solution. He knows that going back to the PDP is not the solution. He wants the Labour Party to become stronger so that the Labour Party can still present him for the next presidential election. As far as he's concerned, as long as he continues to retain his relevance in the party, he has the right, so to say, he has the right of first refusal, which means that he will be considered before other people for the ticket of the party for the presidential election in 2027. And in fact, Abure had come out to say that Peter Obi will be the presidential candidate of the party. Now, Obi has been having meetings trying to ensure that the party stays stronger. Remember, before the March National Convention of the party, which INEC disowned, Peter Obi urged the national chairman, Julius Abure, to not be in a hurry to organize that national convention. He told him to bring everybody together, get their buy-in before proceeding to do the national convention. But Abure did not listen to Peter Obi. Abure has his own ideas. He's desperate to hold on to the leadership of the Labour Party. But we are seeing an increasing threat to his ambition from the Nigerian Labour Congress. Before now, the Nigerian Labour Congress went to the secretariat of the party, pulled down the gates, forced themselves into the premises, and picketed it just the way they picket company premises when they want to push for better wages or bigger wages, as the case may be. But in this case, they picketed the national headquarters of the party. What the NLC is trying to do is to force a change in leadership of the party, a change that will now put labor leaders in charge of the party. And you can see, in fact, I was surprised by the conduct of the former president of the NLC, Abdulwahab Omar, who led a team to the headquarters of the party, where the presidential candidate of the party was meeting with National Working Committee members. Of course, the people who call themselves Labour Party National Transition Committee members disrupted that meeting. They brought the meeting to a close, and they were insisting that by the end that they were insisting that Abure's term was about to come to an end. That is just a matter of days before Abure's term comes to an end. How does one reconcile this with the fact that Abure had organized a national convention? Unfortunately for Abure, the Nigerian Labour, the INEC insists that he did not witness the convention, and so he disowned the convention. How does Abure come out of that? I guess this is the reason Abdulwahab Omar and others believe that he has come to the end of his term of office. So this battle for the soul of the Labour Party is a threat not just to the party, but to those who seek to use the party to further their ambitions of becoming governor in the next electoral cycle, of becoming president and all that. Because crises leave parties weaker. There is no way that the Labour Party will continue to have this crisis and they will think that they will get stronger. Of course, the PDP and APC, they are not sleeping, and they have the resources that are not available to Labour Party. So Labour Party's best choice is to come together, make themselves strong, continue to mobilize their members, made up largely of obedient, the student union groups, the youth, and the hardworking people of Nigeria, many of who do not believe that what is going on in our country should continue. The hunger, and a lot of them, truth be told, believe that the two parties that have had the privilege of ruling the affairs of Nigeria from 1999 to this time have not done well and have failed Nigerians. So that's why they believe that Labour Party provides an alternative to a credible alternative to the APC and to the PDP. But the crisis that they are going through now, the contestation for power, and the fact that people had the guts to disrupt a meeting that Peter Obi had called with the intention of seeking an amicable resolution to the crisis facing the party, it says a lot about party discipline. That the leader of the party, because as presidential candidate, he remains the leader of the party, and he's been doing his best to try to unify the party. But these Labour Party National Transition Council members went to the meeting knowing full well that Peter Obi was in that meeting with Abure and other NWC members, and they disrupted the meeting. At that point, it became clear to me that this crisis is real. It's not something that the party has to joke with. And if it continues like that, the party will be in a weakened position and will find it difficult to win elective positions in the next round of general election. So this is where we are. Abure, it will make sense if Abure would throw in the towel at this time and allow someone else to run the affairs of the party, because he has cases against him in court, forgery, impersonation, and all that, and even fraud. He's been accused variously of being involved in fraud. No court has convicted him, but these are serious allegations. These are serious allegations. So, this is one reason many do not want to have anything to do with him. Many Labour Party members don't want to have anything to do with him because they believe that he's tainted, and they want somebody who is not tainted. And allied with this is the determination of the NLC, the political wing of the NLC, led by the current national chairman, president of the NLC, Ajaero. They want to seize control of the party. They are desperate. So between the obedience and the NLC, the political wing of the Nigerian Labour Congress, there is a determination to wrest control of the party from Abure ahead of the next round of elections. So that in itself, this contest for influence, for power within the Labour Party is certain to throw spanner in his work, is certain to weaken the party, because no matter how you look at it, some of them may eventually leave the party. And when people defect from the party becomes weaker. Depending on how the matter pans out, some of these people will not remain in the party. Already people like Kenneth Okonkwo are becoming disillusioned. Every time Okonkwo speaks these days, he talks about the possibility of even going back to the APC that he joined in August 2022. So there is crisis in Labour Party. It will take a mighty effort to reconcile the contending groups. Yes, the Apapa group have vowed to work with Abure, support Abure. But we all know that the goal is to ensure that Peter Obi does not get the ticket of the party. Apapa and his group are doing their best to form an alliance that will ensure that their members keep Abure in power in exchange for elective positions and other opportunities. And it means that they are going to be pitted against the obedient, the political wing of the Nigerian Labour Congress.
That's right.
And people who support Peter Obi. But the truth is, Peter Obi is just playing the role of a peacemaker at this time, trying to see what he can do to unite the contending groups within the party, because he knows that that is his best chance. He does not see himself going back to the PDP, and if he goes back to the PDP, there is no chance that he will get the ticket.
That's right, BKO.
Yes. He has a much greater chance of getting the ticket in the Labour Party.
That's right. Just like you said, a lot of those who refer to themselves as obedience, hoping their ideal party is way better than other political parties, are now seeing this unfold right before their own eyes. So how do you think, even though some others are already within the party are saying that they should not advise Peter Obi to leave the Labour Party for another party, but how do you think this internal conflict affect the Labour Party's position in the larger political landscape of Nigeria? And what opportunities or challenges do you think this will present for other political parties?
Yes, I think that whatever happens, if the Labour Party presents Peter Obi, it will still do very well in the southeast and some parts of the south. Then the crisis, in my view, may weaken the party and leave the door open for other parties to win some of the states outside the southeast and south that the Labour Party won in the last election. Labour Party did very well in Plateau State in the last election. Labour Party won the presidential election in Nasarawa. Labour Party did very well in the FCT. They won the FCT in the presidential election. The party must stay together. Otherwise, those states will have become battleground states in the next election, or swing states, as they call them in America, which we at play for all the parties involved in the election. So you can expect a much stiffer opposition coming from the PDP and the APC in states like Nasarawa, the FCT, unlike what transpired during the last election. So what they have to do is to find a way to resolve this crisis in a manner that pleases everyone, so that they can stay compact, stay strong once again for the coming round of elections. That is what Peter Obi is trying to do. I do not believe that Peter Obi will leave the Labour Party, though some people are pushing that he should leave the Labour Party. And he said sometime earlier this year that if we try to change them and they do not agree to change, we might have to leave the party for them. I don't think that at this time that it makes political sense for him to leave the Labour Party. Where does he go? Because if they promise him in the PDP that they are going to give him a ticket, he should take that promise with a pinch of salt. As long as people like Atiku, people like Wike are still in the PDP, there's no way that they will let someone like Peter Obi take the ticket. Because as far as Atiku is concerned, he wants to contest again. In fact, he spoke about somebody contesting 7 times before he won an election. He probably was referring to Abraham Lincoln, or 15th American president. Contested a number of times before 14 smiled at him. So his best chance, Peter Obi's best chance, remains the Labour Party.
That's right. That's right. So let me take one or two comments. Sunday Salami says Labour Party will technically put PO to where it belongs in 2027. Kayla Charity says Labour Party is done and dusted without Peter Obi. Peter Obi will double his votes in the next elections with or without Labour Party. Nelson Adufe says NLC, Nigerian Labour Congress, should stop parading themselves as being partisans or as being partisan. Both Apapa and Abure should step aside, make another fresh leadership of Labour Party emerge, that is said, my candid advice. Banji Okesoto says, Abga, Obi can't build. He ran away from PDP. So where lies Obi's political leadership? And that takes me to the last question here. I mean, the next question. What lessons do you think can be drawn from this conflict for understanding the dynamics of political parties and power struggles in Nigeria? How can these insights inform future analysis and prediction?
Well, what is clear to me now is that political behavior is very predictable. Politicians are the same across Nigeria. They do not joke with their interests. Abure, from nowhere, became chairman of Labour Party. When you become a chairman of a major party, you are a rich man already, because in an election year, you'll be lobbied by people who want to contest elections and all that. And this comes with a lot of money. We've been hearing stories that Abure is now rich, he's building houses here and there. Those were allegations made against him that I cannot prove. You know, I'm not even interested in going to check whether those things are correct, but those allegations were made. Now, before the next election, some other people want to put themselves in the driver's chair. That is what they are after. They want to kick Abure out and install their own person. So their person will ensure that their interests are looked after, and people loyal to that group get a lot of opportunities that others are certain to be denied. So it is 2027 politics that is being played. To the Nigerian politician, 4 years is not a long time. So they start planning for 4 years from the day they get into office, so that the next election doesn't catch them unawares or catch them by surprise. They want to win the next election, and they begin to plan years before the election. So this is what we are seeing. There is a tendency, desperate, to hijack the Labour Party, kick the current leadership out of the leadership positions that they are holding, and install their own people. So what the Nigerian Labour Congress is doing is not a surprise to me. They believe that because the name of the party is Labour Party, therefore it has to be controlled by unionists. Well, it doesn't run like that. The Labour Party is now a party for everyone. Once you register with INEC, anybody is free to join your party and aspire to any position of his choice. So I do not see wisdom in NLC picketing Labour Party secretariat and trying to force Abure out of office the way they are doing. If they have issues, they should try to resolve those issues through the courts. Resorting to force and violence, in my view, will further damage the standing of Labour Party. But as I said, Peter Obi is their best bet. Peter Obi continues to make himself relevant. You can see how he tries to, where elected public officers are reluctant to go. You see Peter Obi go to those places. People win elected positions in Nigeria and alienate themselves from the people. But you see Peter Obi always making himself available. That way he's making himself relevant ahead of the next election. There can be no doubting the fact that Peter Obi will be on the ballot in the next election. All the signs points to that. And he's working hard, trying to make the people like him, trying to cast himself as a lover of the people. You see him, he's always the first to empathize, and on issues, he's always the first to talk. He's doing all of this to prepare himself for 2027 and make himself win more votes in 2027 than he won in 2023. So that's what he's doing. We are the current national leadership. We are the current holders of big elected positions do not show up at events where they travel in private jets so that people do not see them, where they go around with heavy, long convoys and security men. Peter Obi has been presenting himself like one of us, like a real lover of the people. He's doing that on purpose. He wants to be considered ahead of other people who are going to be in the race for the presidency in 2027. But the party that best represents his best chance to attain to end the ticket, the presidential ticket, remains the Labour Party. He knows it. That is why he's doing his best to resolve the differences within stakeholders of the party. He knows that that's his best chance. So, and if the party becomes extremely weak, he can as well kiss his presidential ambitions goodbye. So he's doing his best at this stage to bring everybody together. And I don't think it was right to go and disrupt a meeting that Peter Obi was attending with the NWC of Labour Party with the purpose of reconciling people. You don't go and disrupt that kind of meeting. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
And it's disrespectful. It's disrespectful to the standing of Peter Obi for Abdul Wahid Omar and others to go and do what they did. Whatever may be the desire of the Nigerian Labour Congress, they still have to respect constituted authority.
That's right.
And Peter Obi amounts to constituted authority. Apologies to the late governor of Oyo State, Ishaq Ajimobi.
Yeah. That's right. So the Labour Party said that the party remains the only platform for Peter Obi to contest and emerge victorious in the 2027 presidential election. So I would like to ask you finally, how best do you think the Labour Party can resolve this conflict?
They have to come together, and people should be prepared to make sacrifices. Well, I mean, if I don't want a party to fail, I'll be ready to give up my position so that we can have peace. I think Abure should consider that, because it is clear that so many of the power blocks, so many of the groups within the party are tired of him. You can't continue under that kind of situation. All the big people in the party, they didn't attend the convention that he organized. The governor stayed away. Peter Obi stayed away. So that's a clear sign that he's been alienated by members of his own party now. Where you are faced with that kind of situation, you know what to do. Just call them, gentlemen, I quit. I know it's a difficult thing for Nigerians to do, but I don't think it's too big a price to pay. He's already written his name in the record books by the performance of Labour Party in the 2023 election. So at this stage, if the people are turning against you, they don't want you, and these are very big, powerful blocks within the party, at some point you have to give in. You have to give in. So I think that is crucial to resolving the issues.
That's right.
Within the party.
I think we still have about 2 or 3 minutes to go. Let me just take 1 or 2 comments. Mohammed S. Sabi says, anybody dreaming of Peter Obi winning presidential election in Nigeria is just like sleeping on a moving bicycle. Olubi Mohammed says, Obi's chance in 2027 is slim. Atiku is going to contest because his Marabouts told him he is going to be president of Nigeria. Nobody can challenge President Tinubu and win. Nelson Adefe says, BKO, please restore all aspects of the program to 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. That's 1 hour, as we are usually looking forward to make contributions to national issues through issues with Jide. Let's enjoy the program, please. Of course, you're enjoying it already. Kayla Charity says, Peter Obi should leave the Labour Party and form the Obedient Party. His supporters will follow him anywhere he goes. I see his supporters growing by over 200% come 2027. So maybe we should be looking forward to Obedient Party rather than the Labour Party, which fielded Peter Obi in the last presidential election. Your final thoughts, BKO?
He knows that it's not easy for a new party to win elections and win big. The reason APC was able to do this was because some of the governors in the PDP turned against their own party, worked out on their own president, who was also president of the country, and generally the defections were massive. Without that kind of situation, how do you expect to win? It's not to form a new party and expect it to win an election. It's not easy. It doesn't always happen. Even the opposition taking power in Nigeria was a first. We had never witnessed that. Taking power at the federal level. We had never witnessed that. So that is why Peter will be going to form the Obedient Party or whatever name they give it. We only make his position weaker. I think that the Labour Party has all shades of opinion. People who are not obedient, people who are not students, who are not youth, but want change. A lot of them are in the Labour Party, especially very radical young people who believe that Nigeria must change for the better, who believe that the hunger in the land has to go. The reason they like Obi is because, yes, Obi has been a politician too, but they believe that he's cleaner than other politicians. They believe that his record does not suggest that he is as greedy as the politicians before him. No one is a saint. Peter Obi is not a saint. There is no way he will say that he's a saint. But when they look at him and compare him to some of the people who have held power in Nigeria, they see in him a much better politician. I mean, a much better person. They see in him the better Indian. Because they always say, some people will say, no, the only good Indian is dead. I'm sorry to use that analogy. So they see Obi as the good Indian. Compared to other politicians, they see him much better in terms of integrity, in terms of attitude to life, frugal attitude and all that. So that's why They are not seeing him as a saint. They just think that he's better than other politicians.
Right.
So, and there's nowhere else where his interests can be better served, in my view, than the Labour Party. I'm not saying he will win the election. I'm not saying that. But if he remains in the Labour Party, he's most likely to get the ticket of the party to then contest the next election.
That's right.
But if he goes back to the Labour, to PDP, as they are pushing, as they are claiming that they want to do an alliance that will fail from the first day, he may not get the ticket. In fact, he will not get the PDP ticket. So he has to weigh his options. Remain where you are the biggest fish in the pond, and continue to run your affairs in that place where you are much loved, you are accepted overwhelmingly, than go to where you used to be, where you are just you are not as influential as you are in the Labour Party today. So I believe that Labour Party represents the best chance for him to get the presidential ticket for the next election. I'm not saying he represents his best chance to win the election.
Absolutely.
I've not seen any sign that he can win the next election. I've not seen any sign at all. I'm not going to deceive myself. But he will easily get the presidential ticket if he remains in the Labour Party. And I don't want him to be deceived about any form of alliance and all. Alliances are difficult
to obtain.
Put together in Nigeria. Political alliances are very difficult because of politicians' greed for power.
That's right. Yeah, you've said so much on the show today. That's our show for today's edition of Issues with Jide. Special thanks to you, Babajide, Kolade-Otitoju, for those insightful analyses, as always.
Thank you so much. And I apologize for the kickstarting the program a little late. I was far away in the island. And, felt I needed a convenient place to sit and do the program. But it's better to do it than to not do it at all.
That's right. And thanks for always being there for the Nigerians with your analysis, especially with the interest, the national interest that you have, for the entire country when it comes to politics and other related human angle issues, which you always provide your insightful analysis upon. Thank you so much, Mikhail.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you.
And thanks to our audience for keeping our company on every edition. You can see the program again anytime by subscribing to our YouTube channel, TVC News Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button to get the latest information. You can also follow us on our social media platforms at TVC News NG and also at Ibrahim_Shita. On behalf of the rest of the team, I'm Ibrahim Shita. See you again next edition. Bye for now.